We know that people like China and Russia and Saudi Arabia and Kenya, like these guys have all decided to ditch the US dollar in exchange for their local currencies to trade petrol. We are seeing the end of the petrodollar, ladies and gentlemen. This has been what has held the strength in the US dollar till now. This should be enough reason for you to worry. Not to mention the fact that the banks are failing, the dollar's being printed at enormous rates. We could be looking at $16 trillion of money printing over the next few years. Why take the risk? So I am 100% out of stable coins. In this video, I'm gonna tell you guys what I'm doing in my portfolio because I am right now a crypto maximalist, and my mission right now is to obtain as much Bitcoin, Ethereum, and solid altcoins as humanly possible without over leveraging myself and risking everything. Guys, in this video, I laid out a strategy that I haven't heard really anyone talking about. I call it the Michael Saylor retail strategy. It's the same methodology that Michael Saylor uses on a commercial, institutional level that you can do right now at home, super easy. If you're interested to learn this, make sure you watch this video through the entirety because it's super valuable. Like the video, it would help me out a lot. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let's get into it. If this is your first time watching this channel, my name is Chasse. I've been in crypto for 11 years and I have been pretty much right about everything. I got in Bitcoin early on, bugged my friends and family, tried to get them to come into Bitcoin, and they eventually have, but I'm just trying to go on this journey and share what I'm learning with you guys. If you haven't watched the Bankless podcast with Balaji that was published just a few days ago, make sure you go do it. It's incredibly informative. I highly encourage you to watch it. Balaji is incredibly educated. His knowledge of history is superb, and he makes some very compelling evidence with some really great graphs. In fact, one of the charts in there shows all the hyperinflation events of the past and how quickly or how long it took for prices of items to double. And on some of those, it was like 15 hours, 17 hours, and the other ones were like 1 day. But could you imagine that you go to buy a bag of chips for, let's say, $2 today, and tomorrow it's $4, and the next day it's $16, and the next day it's $64. That's what hyperinflation is. And I guarantee you your employer is not raising your salary by that either, right? So just think about that for a second. That is crazy. Another thing that was discussed in that video with Balaji on Bankless was actually crazy to hear. I don't remember off the top of my head who they were referring to. I think it was like at the ex-Fed of the chair or something, but they said that when things are in absolute shambles, like pandemonium, you have to lie to the public. Like that is crazy. And you know the memes that go around where like there's like the cat at the table or whatever, and like the house is on fire behind it and everything is fine. This is exactly what's going on right now, is we're being told everything's fine, but behind the scenes, they're freaking out. I have no idea what to do. So I'm gonna talk about my portfolio, the different assets I have, whether it's stablecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, cash, gold, tell you what I have, the ratio of all of those, and what I'm doing with each of them. Let's talk about my liquid assets. I have exited stablecoins completely. I have a lot of those in Bitcoin, some in Ethereum, and I think the market's gonna go a lot higher. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm also taking a bit of risk here, but I think it's really educated and low risk. And so what am I doing? So I'm using Aave. It's taking me a while to actually fully go into DeFi, but I love it now. It's so nice. I literally went and was able to take out a loan in a matter of minutes. And that's my strategy moving forward. I'm gonna continue to do that as time goes on. And as the value of Bitcoin and Ethereum, which I both use as collateral in Aave to take out more fiat or stablecoin loans to then go buy more Bitcoin and Ethereum. And as the price increases, that means I got more, my Bitcoin and Ether that are in collateral are worth more. So I've got more collateral, which means I can borrow more. So what does that mean? That means that I am bullish long-term Bitcoin. And I think that we are potentially here about to see something really radical. It's interesting to think about too, because there is this idea of a super cycle. And a lot of players were betting big that a super cycle was going to happen last bull run. I believe they were just one cycle too early. You had people got wiped out like 3AC and Celsius and a bunch of others. We're still feeling that contagion today. But you have to do this in a safe way. And so I'm not here to give you financial advice on what that is. I highly encourage all of you guys to go learn about this stuff. Don't just do what I'm saying blindly and go do this, because you can get wrecked. This happens in crypto, trust me. If there's a black swan event and you don't have enough collateral and the price of your assets drop dramatically, they might come down to a peak. And for some reason, it always seems like it was just come down just enough to start liquidating your assets. And what I mean by that, and why I like this strategy more than, let's say, leverage trading on Bybit, is because I'm not getting liquidated in a sense where I lose everything, right? What happens is that when your collateral reduces, the system, because Aave is a protocol, that protocol will start liquidating your assets in order to make sure that your loan can get repaid. And so when you have this dip, and you often will be at that margin call where it'll start liquidating your assets at rock bottom prices. And that's just not really nice. So make sure that you understand the risk involved in this, but it is the strategy I'm moving forward. This is the same strategy, you guys, that Michael Saylor has used to acquire all of his Bitcoin. He's leveraging, right? This is the retail version of what Michael Saylor is doing. The reason that I haven't really pushed the amount of loans I have, acquire as much Bitcoin and Ethereum as I can, is because I'm still cautious and I'm not totally sold on the idea. It's just up only from here. It seems like yesterday we were at sub 20K and now we're at 28 plus. That's a pretty quick hike in prices. And there's a lot of traders out there, a lot of people who do technical analysis, I'm not one of them, who do feel like we're gonna see this correct at some point. And if it does, it'll probably happen pretty quickly. And again, that's what you need to be careful of. You need to be careful and understand that when you're doing these leverage deals, if the price comes down to whatever, let's say it comes back down to 20,000 or 18,000 or 20,000, will the value of your collateral still be enough to meet the requirements of the protocol that you're using, loan to value ratio? So I know it's a lot, but again, I encourage you to go learn about these things. This is not the video to teach you how to use these protocols, but you can go to Aave. There's a lot of really good getting started guides over there, or just go on YouTube and learn how to use these things. So that's what I'm doing with my assets. I am also in altcoins. One of the other things too, this is a more risky strategy, but it's one that I'm willing to take the bet. I'm going back and revisiting a lot of the projects that I was really bullish on in the last bull run and seeing which one of them are still building and which of those were significantly down below their all-time high, and making some bets on some of these projects I'm still very bullish on, because these things will absolutely skyrocket in a bull run. Now let's go back to my video for a minute and talk about what I think is gonna happen moving forward, because we're only part of my prediction has come right. Will the rest be true or not? We have now announcement from the Fed, that Fed Now, which is basically their version of the CBDC, which is set for a soft launch, or basically their testnet version of it, to roll out in April for selected individuals, institutions only. But in July will be the main rollout of Fed Now, which you have to make the assumption that the government is working with the Fed in order to create a central bank digital dollar. Now, in my video, I talked about the fact that we will see this kind of yo-yo effect of quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, and the Fed trying to manipulate things as much as they can to keep things from completely collapsing until the central bank digital dollar is ready. And it's still my opinion that when they roll out the central bank digital dollar, they will make an excuse that this is a new monetary system of sorts, and that all this bad debt the United States has will be wiped clean. But what does that mean for you? That means, and what I predicted was that we will see hyperinflation just before the CBDC rolls out. So if I'm correct, that means that we will see a severe debasement of the US dollar. If you're listening to this, it sounds crazy. Everyone believes that the US dollar is just too big to fail. The US is just too big to fail, but we'll see. I don't think that's true, because there's just nowhere to go from here. There's just no way. They've kicked the can down the road for too long, that eventually something has to crumble and fall big time. So we could be looking at a case where we see maximum hyperinflation before July, where the central bank digital dollar comes into play. I don't know if that's 100% accurate. Obviously, I'm not Nostradamus. I can't predict the future, but these are just my speculations, and this is what I believe could happen, and I'm placing my bets accordingly. Guys, I just wanted to share this video with you to tell you what I am doing. None of this is financial advice. Please do not come to me if you take my advice and I'm wrong. I could be very wrong. This is just what I'm doing. All right, guys, I hope that you found that valuable, and let me know in the comments below what you think about it. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I'll catch you guys on the next one.